Yo, what's up? If you do dips and rows, this is going to be a great shoulder input for you. Yo, what's up? I'm Coach Rich Thurman, also known as Coach RT3. And before we get started, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you never miss a post from me again. Shoulder extension is one of the movements that we don't often train a lot, and we jump right into exercises and we don't give ourselves an opportunity to work on improving that range of motion. So I like a setup that I use here next to a bench. It could be a bench, it could be a box, it could be a sofa, whatever. But I like the bench because it allows me to get my feet up underneath the area that I'm going to be using. I'm going to use a yoga block just because I don't want to dip too far down into knee flexion. So sometimes you might have a little bit of sensitivity at the knees and maybe you need a little bit of support. Otherwise, you can come all the way down and just sit on top of the heels and get into that position. But I'm going to give myself a little bit of support here today just because I want to be comfortable. All right, so now that I've got my yoga block in place, I'm going to just take my arms, place them behind me here. Now, I'm looking for a stretch in the shoulder joint, and I already have a slight stretch, but I want to go a little bit deeper. There's a couple ways you might consider doing this. One of the ways that people typically will do is they will just kind of bend themselves forward, but that's not increasing the stretch that we want. What we could do instead is we could go into extension of our spine, which then kind of lifts the chest up nice and proud, and that should give you not only a stretch across the shoulders, but into the bicep. We're gonna hold that stretch for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, we're gonna begin to press down into the bench. So we're trying to do this motion here, driving down into the bench. We're gonna slowly ramp that effort up to our maximal effort over the course of about 10 seconds. We're gonna hold it for 10 to 15 seconds, and then we're gonna try and lift off. Now we should be in a position where we can't lift off, so we're engaging all this posterior shoulder stuff in order to try to lift off isometrically, driving huge neural drive there, and you're gonna hold that effort maximally for about 10 seconds and then relax. That's a PAILs and rails contraction, just giving you isometrics on both sides of the joint at end range. An alternative consideration for shoulder extension would be putting yourself in a closer position to what you would be in your dip or your row. So instead of having the arm straight out like this and going into your PAILs and rails or your isometric contractions here, what you could do is you could take a bent elbow position. Okay, so now you're in this bent elbow position, you're getting a stretch. That's going to take the bicep out of it, and that's going to just put it mainly on the shoulder joint itself. And you can hold this stretch for 2 minutes, and then you can also do a PAILs and rails here. So your PAILs would be trying to drive the fist down using this tissue on the front side of the joint. You would ramp up to your maximal effort over the course of 10 seconds, slowly ramping, and you hold that for another 10 seconds, and then your rails contraction would be pulling away, trying to lift those fists off the bench or whatever surface you're on. You're not going to be able to lift off because you should be at or beyond your in range slightly, so you shouldn't be able to lift off there. And what that's going to do is allow you to contract and isometrically contract that posterior tissue during that rails contraction. Remember, oftentimes we don't spend a lot of time at our end range. Even when we're doing exercises, we go in and out of that end range very quickly. So this gives us an opportunity to get into that end range and then provide some force into the tissue at that end range. This is going to work wonders for you and be helpful in your overall longevity and your joint health. Yo, remember to smash that subscribe button, hit the like, comment, and share it with a friend.